Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakha, Kodash, a double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Today's lesson is called The Exodus History Runs Parallel. As I was reading Exodus, I noticed that a lot of things that we went through, our ancestors went through in the past, we had to endure in the future. All right, so certain events take place pretty much over and over. All right. We call it deja vu. We call it history repeating itself. But for the most part, the scripture backs up my claim. So Ecclesiastes 1 verses 9, it says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. All right. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of an old time, which was before us. All right. So, and I'm gonna stop right there because a lot of things that we endure now, our foreparents endured in the past. But moreover, this is one of the things, or the correlation, the direct correlation or parallelism, however you want to say it, from Egyptian history to history that was done in 70 AD up until now. This pretty much clarifies who we are spiritually on a spiritual level, because we don't have any documents. In fact, they were destroyed. Everything that in our history that pointed back to us being Israelites, for the most part, the majority of it has been destroyed. But now through the Spirit of the Lord is confounding the culprits and revealing, who his chosen people are, and we know that through the Spirit. We know that we're under the curses. But like I said, man, these events, the historical events, run parallel to what we see today, even on how our people act in this society, man. We can tell right off that we the children of Israel. But this is Exodus 8 or 1 and 8. I'm gonna try to make this short, and I'm gonna show you, the parallels and how it line up. It says, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. All right, because our foreparents, they went to Egypt, the 12 patriarchs, the 70 souls that were in Egypt, they had to flee Canaan because of famine. All right. And it says, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore did they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. All right. So the point being is, the scripture, as you can see, verse 10, it says, let us deal wisely with them. So pretty much they turn the heat up, I guess you can say. All right. And when you watch that movie 12 Years a Slave, man, they gave you a depiction on how they used to weigh the cotton that we used to pick on a daily. And if we didn't bring in a certain amount of coffee, a certain amount of cotton, then we would be whipped, and Lord willing, let me see if I can go ahead and get that clip real quick. So bear with me, Slaki.
Shalom. 295 pounds. It's real good, boy. It's real good. 182 for flat. How much can even an average nigga pick a day? 200 pounds. This nigga ain't even average. 512 pounds for Patsy. 512. Your men folk got no shame letting Patsy outpick you. They ain't yet come, she swung lower than 500 pounds. Queen of the field, she is. 138 pounds. I ain't done, Treach. Ain't I owed a minute to luxuriate on the work Patsy done? Yes, sir. Damn queen. Born, bred to the field. Nigger among niggers. God give her to me. The lesson and the rewards of righteous living. All be observant to that.
All right, so the point of the video was just to show you pretty much the rigor that was put on us. 500 pounds of cotton daily, 200 being the minimum, and they would whip you afterward. But you got people out here that absolutely don't know anything about history, don't know anything about slavery, and these are actual events that took place. As far as that's that scenario with having to meet a quota daily, working in the rigorous sun, barely eating any nutritious food, taskmasters over us, over our ancestors, beating them, whipping them, and doing all type of things, degrading them, so on and so forth. But you see the same depiction happen during the time we was in Egypt, during the time our ancestors were in Egypt. So, the history run parallel, and that's how we further know we know who we are according to the Bible. All right. So I'm going to continue reading in Exodus 1 and 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. Hey, we built treasure cities for these damn Edomites. Washington D.C. We spruced up the economy. People were making hell of a lot of money. You still have multi-trillion-dollar corporations even till this day. That's pretty much thriving off the backs of free labor, free slavery. So continue. It says, verse 12, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. All right. And so the same thing pretty much happened in America, being under the wicked rule of these so-called white people, the Edomites. They tried and cut us off as a nation. They tried sterilizing us. They used eugenics, to forward our affliction, to do exactly what the Egyptians do. And that's why I say the history runs parallel. Those events that we see in the past, they all relate to today. And that's how we further know who we are according to the Bible. All right. So I'm going to continue. It says verse 14. I'm going to read to 15. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. All right. And that history runs parallel to what we're going through now, or what we have been going through slavery. So, and that, it further proves that, man, the scriptures I read earlier, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. There's nothing new under the sun, man. So all these things that have taken place in the ancient world, they have came right back around, and they've been happening over and over again. All right. I'm gonna get into the point. I'm gonna hit the points. So Exodus 1 and 15, and this pretty much goes to this happened in 70 AD. The same thing that Pharaoh did to the children of Israel happened again in 70 AD with Herod. All right, so Exodus 1 and 15, and the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, Shiphrah, right? And it says, in the name of the other Puah, and he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives, all right, so the midwives feared the Most High and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive. So even then, during the Exodus, before our Exodus, during the time of the rule of the Egyptian, I think it was Tutmosis II. That's what they tried to, pinpoint it around Tutmosis II, his rulership. They were using eugenics in one form or another because of us outgrowing them, So in that same account, like I said, it runs parallel with the same account in Matthew 2 and 16, which I'll give real quick. All right. In this case, the prophecy was that a Messiah would come to save the nation of Israel, and he would be king over the nation of Israel. And Herod wanted to be king. These Edomites wanted to rule over us. All right. And he was afraid of that because he knew we were a special people. But this is Matthew 2 and 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping, in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not. All right. So, like I said, the history runs parallel. All right. These events run parallel with other events within our history, the line of our history. All right. And that's how we know that we're the children of Israel, because the same shit keep happening to us. All right. All right. Let me go back to Exodus 1. And I might as well just hit the point. But and the point is that in Egypt, we were alligator bait, and they did the same thing to us in America. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the point. Let me see. Exodus 1. Oh yeah, it's another point. Salakia. We used to nurture their children. The same here in America. We nurtured the so-called white men, these Edomites' children. We raised them. All right. They showed a depiction in the movie. I mean, the movie. It was with Salakia. You know what? If I find it, I'll just pause it and bring up the clip. But I'm gonna read it and then I'm gonna try to find the clip. It says, "But the midwives feared the Most High and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, Why have ye done this thing and have saved the men alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. All right. Therefore, the Most High dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared the Most High, that he made them houses." All right. And I don't really have to get the clip, but let me see. Might as well.
is kind. He is important. That's so good.
Hey man, and that's just a scene from a movie. We all know we raised these so-called white people, man. We raised them to be civil, to take care of themselves. And we received a lot of flack. We didn't receive any type of recognition for it. But you know, the cat's out the bag. But I'm gonna read this precept again, and I'm gonna enter into my final point. Exodus 1 and 19. It says, "And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them." All right. And we go into that word lively. Okay. Let me see. All right. The word lively, vigorous, lively, having the vigor of life. And that's, our women have that. Okay. They have that. They breastfeed. They do all things, you know, to help nurture and pretty much, build communities. All right. More than nurturing part though. All right. So verse 22, and I'm gonna hit this last point because we know the so-called white man uses eugenics. He has, been sterilizing us to keep us, to depopulate us. All right. So we won't be a strong nation. All right. So Exodus 1 and 22, it says, "And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive." Slacking. All right, so Slacking. We do know they were thrown into the Nile. Well, I did a little research, and the scripture don't say that they was eaten by crocodiles, but I was trying to. It was a movie I seen a long time ago where it depicted that on the hieroglyphs. A lot of you brothers may know it. The Prince of Egypt. That movie depicted that scene, but I tried to find an actual hieroglyph that actually seen it, so I ain't gonna retract my statement, but I am not gonna, push that point. But the truth remains. We were used as alligator bait in this time, and a lot of things still correlate and still are parallel with what we've been through in the past, and for the most part, that's how we know who we are today. And with that, I'm gonna give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, a double honors the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and Shalom.